What's up, guys? Your favorite player one, Richard here, out doing another bourbon hunt. This time we are in Germantown, Tennessee. It's one of the suburbs of Memphis, and we are visiting Corks Wine and Spirits, better known as Big Corks. Now, I did take a peek inside, and I do think that they have some good things that you might be interested in. So let's get out of the snow and go take a look. All right, so right off of the bat, you can tell that they have quite the selection of whiskey here. We may not get to all of it, but we will certainly stop and try to highlight some of their other things. So right off the bat, we have quite a big selection of New Riff, if not probably the biggest that I've seen in the area. Still intrigued by this sherry finished malted rye, coming in at $85.99. Seems like a good price, pretty much on par with what I've seen in other areas as well. They have a good selection of Green River. I've heard that this foolproof is pretty good. I've not tried that. I have had the wheated, and it's quite delicious. We're just gonna work our way down. Here's more Uncle Nearest. I did not ever find that cognac finish, but after I did some research and saw how much it cost, I'm kind of glad that I didn't. Templeton Ryes, I've never heard of them before. I think I've seen them in stores, never had them. I'm definitely intrigued by this one. Their rye stout cask. Just secondary stout cask, but I bet you that's probably pretty good. Maybe it would even taste similar to something like a ASM, American Single Malt. Cruising right along. I have not seen this before. I believe that some of them typically come in a tube, but this looks like the 2025 edition bottled in bond of their rye. Let's see, $79.99, distilled in spring of 2020. So a 5-year rye. Cruising right along. Not a lot of Bardstown, but they do have that Ferrand. Looks like it's $129.99, so about on par with everyone else. Of course, they have all the standard offerings of Woodford Reserve, but what really has caught my eye is Leaper's Folk. This M-Town Brown Volume 2 for $99.99. I've seen some of the other local YouTubers try that, and they've said nothing but good things, so definitely something worth keeping an eye out for. So a little bit of a tight gap here. Michter's. So a lot of your standard things on the bottom shelves. You have your Evan Williams, your Makers, Jeffersons. Again, I realize I'm going a little bit fast, but I want to get to the more exciting things that we have here. So the Calumet, lineup here. So small batch, 8-year, 10-year, 15-year, and 16-year. Hopefully you can see the prices. If not, that small batch is $69.99, 8 years, $49.99, $79.99 for the 10-year, $139.99, and $149.99. I've never had Calumet before. Looking at those proof points, so this guy right here, the 15-year is 105, the 16 is 106. I don't know if I'd be willing to pay that much for such a lower proof whiskey. Granted, it is a higher aged, but what do you lose whenever you're proofing it down? Not really sure. So moving right along, we do have Sazerac Rye. I would love to see foolproof in our area. I haven't come across or heard of any. So to my knowledge, it's not hit the Memphis area yet. Store pick Sazerac Rye. $29.99. Some other things that I would like to see. When I first started getting into whiskey, really enjoyed Knob Creek. I have a Knob Creek 12, but one thing that I found recently that I haven't seen a lot of in my area is that Burr Rye. That was really, really good. I picked up a second bottle that I have at the house. This right here, the smoked maple, is actually one of my entry whiskeys. When I was trying to truly get into it, I really gravitated towards that smoked maple along with like old fashions and stuff like that. It's moving right along. We have a couple of Castle and Key that are here. Again, something I've never tried before. Again, a lot of just kind of your standard products here. Everything's pretty much on par with what you're going to find in the area as far as pricing goes. So I'm not really going to focus a lot on the pricing for these. Now, one thing I am going to stop by though is Peerless. I had mentioned in a previous video that I'd love to try their double oak. They do have the standard offering bourbon of $79.99 and then their straight rye whiskey for $105. I've heard good things about this one. I can't pronounce that one. Oak Staves. That's $59.99. Seems like a good price. I believe I saw it somewhere online. It was a pick that was highly sought after. Whistle Pig. I have a funny Whistle Pig story, but I did pick up a bottle. It was a store pick of a different local store, and it was gone real quick. It just tasted like confectioner's sugar. Sweeten's Cove. Seeing this pop up more and more in local stores. $59.99 for this one. The blended straight bourbon whiskeys in a Scotch cask, $189.99. Have you tried that? Is it something worth picking up? Can't do a video in Memphis without talking about Blue Note. Wild Turkey, single barrels. I guess that's the Tyrone. Just finished off one of these. Absolutely wonderful. One of my favorite bottles. If you're looking for that 101 8-year, they have it here. $39.99, 8-year. Cruising right along. Again, just trying to point out the things that might be exciting. Frank August. They have that here. Quite a selection of your Penelope. Starting over here at the cigar blend. If you're still looking for this one was pretty good. This is actually a better price than what I paid, $91.99. Toasted Series. I'll go a little slow so you can see the prices. If you're looking for a great, just ready to drink old fashioned, this one right here would be one that I'd recommend. $25.99. This would be close second. This one, leave it on the shelf. Hot take. Elijah Craig, a 125, 10-year, 7 months, 118.2 proof, $74.99. All right, almost to the end of the aisle, and then we'll get to show you some of the really cool things. One thing I found out recently that I didn't know is that with the Bakers, you have the age statement here on the top, and even though it says Bakers 7-year, it does say 7-year minimum. So I've seen these go up to 8-year, 11 months, and so on. So they do have a limited release high rye bourbon for $79.99. More of your just regular products that you would see on your standard shelves. Buffalo Trace, Jack Daniels. They have 2 Willets, green top, purple top. Green top is a 4-year rye, $69.99, coming in at 116 proof. And the purple top, $59.99 for 126.2. to pay homage to my good friend, Major Zero Gross. Great pour here. If you can't find a Coy Hill high proof store pick rye, one of my go-tos. Nelson Brothers, really cool story, located in Nashville, Tennessee. If you get a chance, check out the book, The Lost History of Tennessee Whiskey. Really cool story. They go, I believe, have a chapter dedicated towards them. Old Elk. I've heard good things about this double wheat. It is $108.99. And then lastly, again, you got to rep Memphis. We have the basic lineup of their Old Dominic. You want a great pour, cast strength, 120.6, 6-year. That is $46.99. Absolutely terrific pour. Now, even though it is a small section, they do offer Irish whiskey. I've never heard of Teeling whiskeys before, but definitely something that I am intrigued by. Cast strength red wine, that sounds terrific. A single pot still, I don't know if, let's see, $99. That sounds like a great pour there. They have several red breast that they offer. Here's another single pot still, 21-year, holy crap. And it definitely matches the expected price, $519.99. They also have probably one of the bigger selections of Scotch. I'm just gonna kind of pan through here. Still haven't really got into Scotch since the last video. Dear God, look at that thing. $16.99. Wow. $929. I know I said I wasn't going to look at all these, but just for giggles, we'll slowly admire this top shelf. One day when I win the lottery, maybe I'll be able to have some of these. Oh, and if y'all know me, I am a sucker for a label, or in this case, some sort of metal decoration. Now, they do have several store picks. This one right here is one that everybody on Discord, at least my local Discord, has been raving about. High price tag, but they said definitely worth the money. 11-year-old, 70.2, so that's what, 140.4 proof. A little too rich for my pockets, but, and of course they have a 1792 store pick. All right, now on to the really cool stuff. So they've already got this year's Old Forester 1924. I actually picked up a bottle of last year's. It's still sitting in my cabinet. I have not cracked it open. 120 Woodford double, 200. If you need a 3-liter of Jack Daniels for whatever reason, you need to seek help. These two, we have a 12-year rye for $500 and a 12-year bourbon purple top willet for $500. One of my favorite things that they do here at Corks is that they put all their allocated stuff out. Usually there's some sort of bundle that goes along. Store pick and stag 25B. Now, with this being a bundle, you have to buy all 3 things here. So the Sazerac store pick, the Bib and Tucker, and the stag. They also have a Blanton's Gold, with Sazerac store pick. And then we've been seeing these just a lot everywhere. $64.99 for the E.H. Taylor small batch, massive Eagle Rare. I actually had one of those. We left it in my office as our gaming whiskey. That's $91.99, and it's paired with a Wheatley vodka. So not bourbon or whiskey, but whiskey adjacent. See what I did there? If you're still looking for that Bourbon County, Goose Island, Heaven and Hill, this is where I bought it from. Actually, probably one of the better prices, $38.99. These two are absolutely stellar. I prefer the Cherries Jubilee over the Chocolate Praline, but you can't go wrong with either one. Now, again, got to continue to rep Memphis. So these two beers were aged in barrels from Blue Note. So Blue Note is a local distillery making phenomenal whiskey, and whenever you can catch their honey finished whiskeys, grab one. They are phenomenal. It appears that they still have some other ones. Never really looked at the beer section. A couple other bourbon barrels here. Kentucky, I'm not familiar with these, but if you've had one, should I pick one up? They look like they're about $3.50 to $4 a pop. All right, guys, I didn't really go into Corks necessarily having a goal or a bottle that I was looking for. I really just wanted to take this time to show you another one of the really cool liquor stores here in the suburbs of Memphis. Now, as I said in my last video, I'm going to try to make it a point to purchase something from the store as a way of saying thank you for letting me film. So I didn't get any bourbon this time, but I did walk away with two different beers. Both of these are from Black Abbey Brewery, which is a brewery located in Nashville, and they were both finished in Blue Note barrels. I have the Krampus and the Oatmeal Stout. So, all right, guys, I appreciate you watching all the way to the end. I certainly hope that you enjoy this type of content. Was there anything that you saw in the store that maybe I need to go back and relook at getting again? All right, guys, as always, thank you for sticking until the end. I'm your favorite player one, Richard. Have a good one.